Hi guys, welcome to the Voice KE. My name is Colin Swangoi, and today we are here at the RG Hotel where we are launching the Kenya Devolution Process Report. And in this event, we are able to catch up with Wanjiru Gikonyo, who is a devolution expert and a governance expert. Yeah? I'll let her introduce herself before she gives us her opinion on the devolution and how devolution is revolutionizing Kenya. Yeah.
Right, thanks so much. I'm Wanjiru Gikonyo. As you've said, I'm an advocate for good governance. I'm a practitioner and advocate for effective local governance, which means I support devolution.
Yeah,
I've done this for the past 20 years. Right now, I'm working independently, but I'm also happy to be here to have also seen and received the report that has been prepared by civil society groups.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And Madam, you have been an expert for governance for a very long time, and you have been a voice in this country in terms of governance. So far, how do you rate our devolution so far?
The interesting thing is we've been complaining a lot about devolution, but there are two studies, in fact maybe three that have come out that show that despite political setbacks, despite poor leadership in some instances, despite quite a lot of corruption, devolution has still managed to fare reasonably well. This study gave devolution about 50 to 60% performance across the board, which isn't bad. But of course, it means there is a lot to be done. Devolution is so important for Kenya because it has allowed resources to go to every corner of the country. But even as those resources go to every corner, we don't have what is called the further devolution. That money is sitting with the governor in the central office. It's not reaching the ground. National government is holding on to money and is taking over functions of the counties. So devolution is being killed on one hand, but devolution has, we can say devolution has stood its own because devolution is about power and decision making to the local level. And that gives ordinary citizens the room to decide what they want. That process isn't perfect, but it is better than what we had before, which was centralized government, all decisions at national level. So we are on the path. We can say the fight for devolution has reached halfway because right now we are at 50%. We need to continue that fight so that now we get next step, we are at 80% until we reach 100%.
Yeah, you know, devolution was supposed to come and also have an engagement with the citizens, and that's why even you have public participation. But many people have not been involved in public participation, What do you think is the challenge that comes with public participation, and what can we do to revolutionize in order to have more public participation and more people turn up for these particular participations?
On one hand, people do engage, but it's who and when, and does government listen? Because, for instance, we saw this was at national level with the Finance Act, citizens engaged, people gave submissions. But then government went ahead to enact the Finance Act and the provisions it wanted. Sure enough, after some pressure, there was some it adjusted, but more or less government did not listen. So when citizens perceive that government is not responsive, they tend then not. They'll say, why should I close my business to go for a public participation if they already know what they want to do? But I would encourage public participation is taking place. In some places, government is listening. In some places, they are not listening. So again, I say we are at 50%, and the issue is political. How do we get political leadership to listen to the people? Then on the other hand, citizens also need to, we've been talking today that there's need for education with the citizens to get out of the culture of dependency, that every time you see your political leader, you're asking for a job, you're asking for a handout. That is not the basis on which we can do public participation. So we need to deal with the political setting so that we can have citizens who are accountable, who also hold their leaders accountable, and elect leaders who are accountable. So I would say devolution is struggling on the accountability side, but that is a national issue that we have to deal with, because that's the same at the national and at the county level.
A follow-up question. You say that politicians and people and see politicians, they see like looking for a job or even asking for money. Yeah, is this the reason? One of the reasons why devolution is failing? Because now Kenyans do not know how to relate with their leaders and what to talk to about their leaders, and what can we do in order to change this?
Now, I did not say devolution is failing. I said devolution is at 50-60%. 50-60%. It is having a lot of headwinds because our political culture, there are some things we have struggled with because the culture of what we call crony politics or nepotism, of corruption, of bribery, of dependency, that has been with us. So devolution did not come to cure corruption. We have to implement devolution and we have to deal with corruption. So we've been implementing devolution. Have we done enough to cure the culture of corruption and the culture of dependency? So let us not fall into the trap of saying devolution is to bring accountable leaders. No. It's to bring local development, but that needs accountable leaders. Those two programs have to go hand in hand.
How can the government and relevant stakeholders ensure that we have equitable and transparent resources and allocation to the county level? Because as of now, we have doctors who are in strike. We can hear the governors like Sakaja say the other day, you either go back to work or you get fired. But now the national government is not yet even engaging so much with the doctors, which is causing a lot of confusion even into the in terms of devolution policies and everything. Yeah, how can we ensure that the government and relevant stakeholders ensure equitable and transparent resources are allocated to the county levels?
I think all voices need to speak out. We need to. Everything starts with dialogue. And one of the principles of devolution, in fact, under the Constitution, is that dialogue, that cooperation. So doctors have a right to be heard. The issues they are raising are fair and pertinent. They have a right to be heard. And government should not come with this strong arm, it's my way or the highway. So part of the problem is government has not been very receptive to other views. They have their own agenda, they need to listen. Then there are some historical issues in health that need to be dealt with because we've had perennial strikes and we've been here before for different reasons. There's been underfunding of health. There have been issues about the management of health. Some of those conversations went on and they stalled. One, we need dialogue. Two, the government must prioritize that doctors get back to work. It can't be a situation where they are threatening doctors because who are they? Who will suffer? It's the citizens at the end of the day. So we need, government has to really think about the public interest. And of course, for me, I've been critical of this government in some regards because if you look at the promises they made during the election process, bottom-up development. Bottom-up development means money has to go to the local level. But instead, they are holding on to money. They are actually squeezing the counties in terms of the expenditure they need. Counties, on the other hand, there is too much corruption. So we need dialogue. We need accountability, and we need national government to respect devolution and the rule of law, and also county governments to do the same.
Thank you so much, Madam Gikonyo, for talking to us. Thank you. God bless you.
All right.
Tunaona, tunasikia na tutabonga. The voice.